Hey, it's Brianna, and I'm here for Triumphant Tuesdays. This week we're starting a new rotation about recovery, and it's about recovery questions. A lot of these questions I've gotten asked about basically how I recovered. And I asked a lot of these questions, and there's 4 weeks, so there's 4 different topics, but throughout my recovery, and before I even started recovery, I wanted to know how people recovered. It was what I always asked. And I used to bug this lady that led A9 and be like, how did you recover? How did you recover? How did you recover? Like, oh my gosh, I need to know now. Because I figured that if it was something that she did, it was something that I could do, and I just needed to know how. But unfortunately, it wasn't this simple formula, and it wasn't easy. But I'm recovered now, so I always told myself that when I recovered that I would answer this question for you guys. So I'm going to. So the topic of this video is, how did I recover? And so the first question is, why did I choose it? I got sick with an eating disorder when I was about 15, and I had it until I was about 25 or so. But I guess you could say my recovery was in 2 phases. When I was 23, I met my therapist, and it was the first treatment I'd ever had because my parents never let me have treatment. They didn't think it was bad enough, which came into play later and was a big problem in my recovery, and I'll talk about that later. But I didn't get treatment for the first 8 years or so of my eating disorder. And I really tried when I first got my therapist. I can honestly say that I did. But I never felt like I was sick enough to recover. I just didn't think that I was bad enough off, which is completely awful and wrong. But I really wanted to know about recovery, and I wanted to know how other people did it. But when I was 25, I almost died, and I'm not really going to say more than that because I don't think it's helpful, but it was either recover or die basically, and I chose to live, and that was around my 25th birthday, so I call it my I Choose to Live Day. But this conflict with my parents, just because they never believed me, so I thought if I got sick enough they'd believe me. So yeah, that's one of the questions, is how did I get over the I'm not sick enough? I realized that I was. I had this moment of realization, or several moments, when I was like, I'm gonna die if this doesn't change. And so I slowly got over that, and once I got over that, I was able to recover. But it's a hallmark of the illness. People with eating disorders generally don't always want to recover. They question themselves, and a lot of it's denial, and you don't realize how sick you are. But once I chose recovery and wanted it with everything that I had, and chose not to give up on it, and gave it my best shot, and stopped doubting whether I was sick enough, or stopped wanting to make my parents believe me, or stopped caring about how I recovered, I actually did. I really had to put aside all my issues with not feeling good enough to recover, and all my issues with my parents, and that was super difficult because I felt like I was giving up, and I felt like I was fake. But like I said, I knew that if I didn't choose to recover at the time that I did, that there wasn't going to be very many choices left, and I had to choose to live. But you have to want it badly enough. People always say, I want it really bad, I want it really bad, I want to recover really badly. But do you? Are you willing to give up control? Are you willing to listen to your treatment team? Are you willing to reach out for help? Are you willing to change? Really? Are you? Because you have to. If your dietitian gives you a meal plan, you have to follow it. If your therapist suggests stuff, you have to do it. It's not your choice. You need to start letting other people make choices for you, and other people make suggestions, and taking them. You might not like your target weight, whatever they give you. You might not like it, but you need to do it. And one thing that really helped me do it was realizing that there were all these recovered people around me, and they didn't care about how much they had to eat, or their weight, or what other people thought about their recovery story, or, you know, people's perceptions about how sick they were, or like how good they were at their illness. They didn't care about that. And as I was thinking about it, I realized that all of that stuff is a symptom of the illness, and my brain was telling me like not to do things that would make me healthy. And I realized that my brain was messed up because, as I said before, eating disorders are a brain illness and they're a mental illness with a very high mortality rate. So I had to go against what my eating disorder was saying and really trust and have people help me, even though that was very, very difficult. But I had to let go, and I had to trust, and I had to give up control, and I had to want it badly enough that I would eat what I was supposed to, and that I would do what I was supposed to, and I trusted people. And I eventually got through it. It took years, and a lot of therapy, and a lot of help, and a lot of friends, and a lot of time. But I made it because I never gave up on recovery. Another thing that helped me in recovery is my favorite quote. It's, "Don't let it break you. No matter how hard life gets, it always goes on." And I know I've mentioned this in other videos, but it really has helped me stay strong throughout my life. And I knew that my eating disorder was one more challenge that I had to beat. And I'll talk about in other videos about other challenges I've had and things like that. But I knew that my eating disorder was one more challenge, and I tried to imagine it as just part of my life, something that was temporary, that was going to be hard, but I was going to beat it, and I was stronger than it. So I did this thing with my dietitian where I had like certain colors for meals, and I would like fill out my meal plan chart thing with that, and the different colors were like different food groups and stuff. It was a completely made up system as far as which colors were which meal groups, but we had certain stars and certain ways that we wrote it. But like every time like I did a behavior, like I realized that I was letting something break me, and I realized that behaviors were often caused by situations in my life, and instead of like looking at the situation that I had, I was using a behavior. So every time I used a behavior, I'm like, "Brianna, like you're letting it break you, like you're stronger, you can make it, I believe in you." Like I just kept saying that I believed in myself and that I could do it, and that I wasn't going to let the situation break me, and that it would pass and I would get through it. And it's still my favorite quote, and I still love it, and it really gives me the ability to be strong. The next question is, what kind of support did you have? For professional support, I had my therapist and I had a dietitian and ANAD. Sometimes that was professionally led and sometimes it wasn't. I had a medical doctor, and then for non-professional support, I had my friends and Starbucks. And I will talk about how Starbucks was helpful in my recovery because it was actually one of the biggest things. But my therapist just helped me with my problems, and my dietitian helped me with a lot of my medical stuff along with my medical doctor. And I went to these appointments quite frequently, probably, I probably had 3 appointments a week or so, and I had a lot of outside activities that helped me recovery, like journaling and things like that. But they really helped me, and that would be my advice to you, is to get a treatment team. And I know that can be hard to find, but you could go to your doctor if you like them. Like my doctor was really good and helped me find some other people. And I actually met my therapist in ANAD when I was 19 or so. So I emailed her and got to see her. But there's so many resources, guys, and if you're doubting whether you're sick enough or having a problem and you're not really sure what to do, or you don't think you can see a therapist, like I promise, like an eating disorder therapist is not going to laugh at you. All you have to do is like Google eating disorder therapist in whatever area you are, and a lot of them will come up. Or like I said before, you can ask our team and we'll try to help you. Like right now my therapist is leaving, so another girl on our team is helping me find someone else, which I really appreciate. Thanks. But there's so many resources, and like I said, I promise that no one will think you're stupid if you ask for help, and it doesn't have to be about anyone. Like, don't wait for someone to notice. Don't make it about someone else. It's about you. If you have a problem, like, seek help for it. And if you make the first step, it's a lot easier. You could ask your friend to do it for you. Like, I had my friend figure out where the therapist I like was, and use your non-professional support too. But I really think it's important that you find a therapist and probably find a dietitian too. But, you know, like I said, don't be afraid to ask for help. A lot of times my friends would eat meals with me and I would switch off, and one person would do it on Mondays and one person would do it on Tuesdays, and so on. And like, I called them or texted them during meals, like have them help me, and they were really helpful. And another thing that was helpful was Starbucks. Like, oh my goodness, I love Starbucks. There's not very much I can say about it other than that, but it's always the place I go. Like, if I'm stressed out about work or stressed out about anything, like, I know that I can at least go for like an hour a day, and I do. And they never really asked me, but for a very long time, like, I ate every single meal in there, but fortunately they never asked me about it, and they really helped me recover because they were like super sweet, and I always enjoyed being there. So if you can find some place that you can eat meals, or that you want to eat meals that will help you, you should do that. And just like really reach out to all the support around you. And even if you don't get a very positive response, just keep trying. No matter what you do, keep trying. And just keep going after recovery and keep working towards it. And that's my best advice to you. It is a really hard journey, but ultimately it's worth it. So I hope I gave a good answer, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.